When it comes to the sustainability landscape, we're very much working on a hydrogen valley for the group. We're trying to incorporate all the sustainability factors of each of the clusters, specifically related to hydrogen. KIZAD very much focused as being the landlord for the production of hydrogen. We have Port being the export for ammonia-related assets. We're going to try and use that green energy potentially for the captive heavy industry on KIZAD, and also for the decarbonization of the existing assets in ports, like for example the forklift trucks, the tugboats.
From the maritime perspective, we're still at the crossroads. It's very early stages in the energy transition globally. So for the maritime industry, the question is it methanol, is it hydrogen? There's so many different factors that are in play at the moment. But for us, it's still very early to make that informed decision that this is the type of energy that will be in demand 5 or 6 years from now. So we are taking ever so slightly small moves to set ourselves up for when the big transition does come into play. But I would say we're still in the initial stages to make big, bold investments into the new sustainability infrastructure, especially when it comes to assets.
AD Ports Group is trying to position themselves as the go-to green port in the Middle East, and with this hydrogen valley that we're currently developing, we're trying to differentiate ourselves from other, I would say, green ports in the region. And we have a lot of, I would say, value drivers when it comes to land availability, land price, utility pricing. So that's a bit where we position ourselves to try and attract as much of, I would say, the hydrogen producers to have basically AD Ports Group on the forefront of the hydrogen developments here in the region.
The initiatives that can be adopted, and I think quite easily in the very shortest time, can be electrification. Energy and hydrogen is definitely, in the long run, does make sustainable, solutions. But I think simple solutions like reducing, right, or converting your forklifts to electric battery powers, these things can definitely bring about change, and they can add up to a sustainable amount in the energy transition if you look at it. We are looking at it, we are evaluating it, and at least from maritime cluster perspective, we're talking to the harbour masters. We're talking about how we can all look at it as a whole, as the AD Ports Group together, not just maritime cluster in isolation and the harbour master separate and the ports cluster separate. So there are a lot of initiatives that we are trying to do in small measures, but do add up in the long run as a sustainable footprint for the AD Ports Group. To name a few, besides electrification, we have looked at it from a towage point of view. We've invested into fuel catalyst systems. For example, these are plug-and-play solutions, so your fuel consumption becomes much lesser. We are in the very initial stages of evaluating these fuel catalyst systems, and once we complete, we will roll them out on all of our tugs, which will definitely be a huge benefit overall in the sustainability perspective for AD Ports Group.
We are very much engaged with the mainliners, also to have a proactive approach to try and basically be ready for their bunker fuel requirements. That they are also moving towards more methanol engines. So we're trying to be ready that by 2028, when these mainliners have new vessels with methanol powered engines, that we are in a position to provide methanol as a bunkering solution for them.
Another initiative that we are working on at the moment from the maritime cluster, we are looking at electrification of tugs. It is a huge investment, but at this point in time, shipyards are making it a lot more easier for ship owners to make decisions. They're going ahead and building these electric tugs, but for us, is it the answer? We still don't know, because it's still at the very initial stage of the energy transition. And these are initiatives that we're not just thinking that, okay, everybody's building an electric tug, we go electric and then we just tick a box. That's not what AD Ports want to do. They want to build a sustainable solution that we know for sure that there in the ecosystem there is no carbon being emitted. That's something that we are taking upon ourselves in the maritime cluster to to see what we can do, bring everybody to the table and try and find a solution that is completely off the fossil fuel ecosystem.
I think we are well positioned to become indeed this green hydrogen player, but again, there's still a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of players, there's a lot of rules, a lot of regulation to get through, and I think now that the hydrogen strategy has been formalized by the leadership in the UAE, we finally know the playground and the rules of how to operate, and basically it's a guideline for producers to come to the Middle East and to set up production facilities here in the Middle East, and specifically in Kizad.
At least from the maritime and shipping cluster's perspective, there are several initiatives that have been rolled out in the last year or so. On the sustainability part, besides all of the initiatives that we have, we should also add that we've partnered with EAD. So they've built this research vessel that does research on the marine life in the Arabian Gulf, and we are now doing the ship management for EAD's vessel. We have been working with them for over a year now, so there's a lot of research that they do. At least they have scientists that are on board. It's definitely one of the initiatives that the UAE has taken upon themselves. And we're glad that EAD has selected us as a partner to work with them on the shipping side of things. That we're very happy to be within our portfolio of contracts that we have in the maritime cluster.
So it was a pleasure speaking. I look forward to working with you.